People are taking the oath of secrecy before the election of a new pope. It's a waiting game for the past few weeks, and this is the final stretch that leads to the emergence of a new Catholic pontiff. Now, joining me in the studio is a very Reverend Father Patrick Alumuku, Director of Communications, Abuja Catholic Archdiocese, who has also worked at the Vatican Radio for 12 years. Very Reverend Father, you're welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
Now, we might likely see the white smoke, which signals the decision after the special mass, isn't it?
Surely we're looking forward to the white smoke as soon as possible.
Now, tell us, how long can we expect the election process to last? Initially, we're thinking the 130 cardinals will take the oath of secrecy at a go, but now they're taking it individually. Tell us more about that.
Well, at the moment, the cardinals are taking the oath of the preparation for the voting, and they are saying that they will be faithful to the teaching of the church according to the Gospels, and also according to the teaching of the church. In other words, they are not going to start discussing this or carrying out a political process in the election of the Pope in the conclave. Basically, this is where we're beginning. So from now, we can expect that the Pope will emerge. Could emerge even this evening if the first ballot today is actually one that unites the popes, I mean the cardinals. If the cardinals are united and choose one person who has 2/3 of the majority votes, even this evening we could have the white smoke. But that could go on for a little longer.
Very Reverend Father, since the demise of Pope Francis, there have been so many talks about who should be the next Pope. With 130 cardinals involved in this process, what qualities would they look forward to in deciding the Papal conclave?
Well, the question you're asking is, what are the qualities of the Pope? And basically, it is expected that the Pope to be elected will be someone who has, first and foremost, good communication skills. It means that he has a capacity to be able to express the faith persuasively to people all over the world. He's also expected to be someone who is spiritual and will have the capacity to then share his spirituality with Catholics all over the world. He must also have a global vision, because the church is all over the world, and therefore he must understand the context of the church in different parts of the world to be able to communicate Christ to the people in every nation, in every culture. He's also expected to be someone who is humble. We saw from Pope Francis a great sense of humility. He could have had jets, but he traveled by Alitalia jets, hired for such purposes. He could have had the best of cars, but he used a little car to move around, and so on and so forth. So he's expected to be a man of humility, who expresses that humility in everything he does. He must be a man who is who has pastoral experience enough to be able to guide the church and to know who would be best in positions all over the world, especially in dioceses where he has to appoint bishops, archbishops, cardinals to rule such places. He must also be someone who has enough wisdom to discern what is right, what is good, and so that he will be able to guide the church in through understanding.
Let's also look at the uniqueness of this process. We're just discussing off camera about the mystery or the secrecy of this conclave. You were at the Vatican for 12 years. How does this resonate in terms of the doctrine of the Catholic Church?
Well, the truth is that there is nothing really secret in the conclave, except that no one or none of the cardinals is supposed to even discuss whom he is voting with another cardinal. And that is the secret part of this. And I think that's quite normal, because even when we have elections in Nigeria here, we go to cast our ballot, not showing anybody else the ballot for whom we are casting. We do not say to someone else, oh, I'm casting my ballot for this party or for that party. So at that point, it's secret. That is how much secrecy there is in this process. And I'm also happy to see that some parts of this are being televised today live, so people can see that there is nothing absolutely sacred as sometimes the media, tends to make it appear.
Well, interesting conversation from the very Reverend Father Patrick Alumuku, as the Director of Communications of Abuja Catholic Archdiocese, and also worked with the Vatican Radio for 12 years. Thanks so much for your insights as we await, hopefully, today, or as you rightly said, as soon as possible, the white smoke, which will signal the emergence of a new Pope. Thank you so much, Reverend Father.
I thank you so much.
Well, I've been conversing with the Reverend Father there on the oath of secrecy, which leads to the emergence of a new Pope. Remember, 130 cardinals are involved in the process, including Nigeria's Cardinal Okpaleke from Okolobia Diocese in Anambra State. Now let's continue with nationwide. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has officially launched its 2025 Hajj operations, with its advanced team already in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to establish crucial groundwork. This is as airlift of pilgrims to Saudi Arabia is scheduled to begin May 9, 2025. Tokbe Alabi reports that the commission is in its final phase of preparations.
The arrival of the advanced team signifies a key milestone in the 2025 Hajj operations and marks the official commencement of Nigeria's participation in this year's holy pilgrimage. The team, comprising essential operational staff and senior members of the national medical team, left Abuja on Monday following a brief ceremony at the Hajj house. Their responsibility on arrival is the groundwork for the entire Hajj operation, while emphasizing the sacred nature of the task. NAHCON chairman, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, charged the team to approach their assignment with a strong sense of duty and commitment.
You must be dedicated, you must be patient to take your duties and discharge it without any fear or favor.
NAHCON, through its Assistant Director Information and Publication, Fatima Sanda Uzara, revealed that 43,000 pilgrims paid for the pilgrimage from the 75 slots given to the states. This is 9,000 short from the 52,000 the Commission had earlier said it paid for their slot. Meanwhile, the Commission has secured clinics in Mecca and Medina with enough bed spaces, distributed yellow cards to states, paid for adequate feeding of pilgrims, and advised against enrolling pregnant women. The inaugural flight is slated for Owerri and has been scheduled for May 9th to Saudi Arabia en route Medina, and the airlift distribution involves flying as Maxair and Umza Airlines. In 2024, a total of 65,000 Nigerians participated in the Hajj rituals, recording 13 deaths during the pilgrimage. Airlift of pilgrims to Saudi Arabia is expected to be completed May 24, and return starts 13th of June to end 2nd of July 2025. From the Hajj House in Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
Away from religious matters, Vice President Kashim Shettima desires that African countries work collectively towards strengthening the foundations of the digital economy through proactive steps to secure a vibrant future for the youth on the continent. He expressed this at the 8th Network of Data Protection Authorities Conference ongoing in Abuja. The reports. Africa is growing on frontiers of possibilities with countries set for more collaboration on data protection and privacy. Network of Africa Data Protection Authorities are joined by the diplomatic corps, cybersecurity experts and top government officials to deepen the foundations of compliance, enforcement and knowledge sharing from the Nigerian model of operation.
Human beings, regardless of gender, share common characteristics that it's necessary to safeguard, preserve their rights of personal data in this evolving digital landscape.
I urge all member states yet to enact and implement the data protection legislations to do so without delay, as strong data protection laws are not barriers to innovation, but enablers of inclusive digital economy.
Nigeria went further to launch the first ever virtual privacy academy.
We must ensure that our value chains are secure, fair, and transparent. This is not just about compliance, it is about trust.
Nigeria's legal framework on data protection is globally recognized as one of the most progressive. More importantly, our data protection ecosystem is now directly tied to the delivery of the 8 presidential priorities of this administration.
There will be 5 plenary sessions, 2 masterclasses and other strategic engagements from participants from over 30 countries. NATPA was established in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso in 2016. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde. Elsewhere, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution urging the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to make cancer screening free in the country to facilitate early detection and treatment. Adopting a motion by Representative Aderemi Oseni, the House expressed concern that the cost of cancer treatment is becoming unaffordable, especially for low-income families who have patients battling the scourge. The House therefore mandates its Committee on Healthcare Services to liaise with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to improve access to cancer care and reduce the financial burden on patients.
Of funding for cancer control with public financing being considered the most appropriate, sustainable and equitable solution to fund that aspect of healthcare to ameliorate the suffering of patients with cancer.
Mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and other relevant agencies to establish a mechanism for the federal government to provide subsidies for cancer treatments, related drugs, and screening.
Talking about treatment here, I want to add the prayer that federal government should make screening free because of this early detection we are talking about. This will enable people to always go for a screening exercise.
If anybody gets to the centers that are available, you find out that Nigerians are on a very long queue, very, very long queue. Sometimes treatment that should have been taken in 3 weeks, you could have it in 9 months, 6 months. And as we speak, the radiation therapy machines are not even available. You have just one at the National Hospital. The next place you can be referred to is Lagos or Calabar.
Now from Abuja, we cross over to the Center of Excellence, and Awal in our Lagos Network Center has the next set of reports. Of Excellence and Network Center.
Access to clean, renewable and sustainable energy sources can boost small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria. Experts in Lagos laid emphasis on these points at the first National Legislative Conference on Renewable Energy. Diana Ajade has details.
Reports and projections by the International Renewable Energy Agency shows that by year 2050, 90% of the world's electricity can and should come from renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydro. For Nigeria, a country that relies heavily on fossil fuel. The transition presents both challenges and opportunities.
This strategic approach aims to popularize the new technology and encourage Nigerians to adopt renewable energy solutions, thereby strengthening national energy options and security.
With the right legislative and regulatory environment, Nigeria could lead in building the clean energy infrastructure for the future, not just for itself, but also for the African continent and beyond.
The Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the shift towards renewable energy has become central to initiatives aimed at fostering inclusive economic growth, climate change adaptation, and industrial innovation.
This change is vital, not just for economic growth and energy security, but also for enhancing environmental resilience and ensuring equity for future generations. As the global market shifts towards cleaner energy, countries like Nigeria will have no choice but to diversify their economy to maintain their financial stability while seeking investments in renewable energy sources to align with global trends.
Experts and other stakeholders at the first National Legislative Conference on Renewable Energy also explored the importance of empowering regional renewable energy development in Lagos. Diana Ajale, NTA News.
An egalitarian society that promotes inclusion and true federalism as desired by the late elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark should be the primary objective of government at all levels to achieve the Nigeria envisioned by the nation's founding fathers. Joel Popola reports that this came to fore at an evening of tribute to celebrate the life and ideals of the Ijaw leader.
Lagos is very instrumental in the political career of the late Chief Edwin Clark, having lived a significant part of his life in the state when he was Federal Commissioner in charge of education and later as Senator in 1983. This service of tribute is not to mourn but celebrate his copious contributions to the nation and thank God for its exemplary life. Members of the Patriots, the Ohaneze Indigbo and various groups from the Niger Delta and other parts of the country all extolled the ideals of the late nationalist.
No, that Chief Clark was a Democrat. He believed in democracy.
Many times he speak out on behalf of we, the minorities in the Middle Belt. I therefore stand here on behalf of all my brothers and sisters down in the Middle Belt to share in this moment of great loss.
His wife, Abisola Shodipo Clark, Prince Fafadam Prince Will, and many others who spoke on his desire for true federalism, lauded him for always being on the side of the truth.
When you look at the situation in Nigeria today, everybody is talking about true federalism. The whole essence is that we should have good governance.
Edwin Clark was actually courage personified, and it's something, courage, not just courage, courage in making sacrifices, for what he believed in.
Pastor Itua Igudalo of Trinity House Church in his sermon urged government at all levels to always prioritize the well-being of the people. Late Chief Edwin Clark died on February 17, 2025 at the age of 97. In Lagos, Joel Popola, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Makurdi with Susan after this break. Don't go away.
You're welcome back. We won't be connecting with our Makurdi Network Center at the moment, but let's go over to the east of the Niger, where a number of projects executed by the Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Soludo, are expected to be inaugurated by President Bola Tinubu this Thursday. Residents see the visit as a progressive one. Ndem Kalu reports.
The seat of government in Anambra State has been on a rented ground for the past 34 years. Having a befitting structure of its own is a feat worth celebrating. Other projects expected to be inaugurated at the Solution Fund City, Oka, among others. The projects, which are people-oriented, have received commendation from citizens of the state.
Governor Soludo is one of the best governors I could say I've seen in the Southeast. given his developmental strides that we have seen across board in the state in the last 3 years.
We have seen governors and governors in Anambra, and they have come and left. But this Soludo regime, he said he would turn Anambra to Nigeria, Dubai. And truly he did it in just less than 3 years.
He had a roadmap far back 2012. He initiated being governor of Anambra State. What is the target or slogan? African, Dubai, Taiwan.
For the Anambra state government to use the opportunity as well to draw the president's attention to certain things that require presidential attention.
Inoka Ndemkalo, NTA News.
Now let's go back to Oka and join Onome or Kadigbo to shed light on the people's readiness to host the #1 citizen of the country tomorrow. Onome, good to see you. What's the mood in town ahead of the presidential visits?
Yes, the president's visit is generating immense excitement and anticipation. Yes, preparations are on ground to welcome the president. The state is wearing a new look. It is decked out in colorful decorations with inscriptions on banners, flags, inscriptions welcoming the president to the country. And yes, the people are pretty excited about the visit as they see the visit as a testament to the federal government's interest in Anambra State and the well-being of the people of Anambra State.
The president expectedly will inaugurate some projects. Can you take us through some of those projects and how this will impact the socio-economic well-being of the state?
Yeah, some of the projects he intends to inaugurate are the Fun City, which is people-oriented project that people can go there for recreational activities. He's also inaugurating the government house, which has been on for years now, and he is the first governor to complete the government lodge. And of course, he will also be visiting the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, where he will be commissioning other projects there.
Interesting conversation with you there. I would expect surely to see how that will turn out to be. Thanks so much for your contribution from Oka. All right, it's now time to connect with our Makudi Network Center, and Susan has the next set of reports.
To know you could join us in Makudi. Over 100 vulnerable persons comprising pregnant women, nursing mothers and people with special needs have received dignity kits from the Nigeria Red Cross Society in Makudi, the Benue State capital. Edwin Solomon reports that the beneficiaries were selected across the 23 local government areas of the state.
The vulnerable persons, especially people living with special needs in the society for so long, have been neglected. This, according to the donors, Nigerian Red Cross Society informed the nationwide interventions. In Benue State, some of the beneficiaries were selected across the 23 local government areas of the state.
We don't have legs to be moving around. Like if they bring anything in the camp to give disabled people, they will ask them to be on the queue. And some of us, disability, we can't stand, we can't, like some of my members said they are crawling on the ground and we don't have wheelchair due to the way we ran from the village and we left some of our things were burnt. Most especially today, they called us special to give us these gifts. So we are very, very happy.
Fatima Nasir is the Director of Protection, Gender Education, Nigerian Red Cross Society, and Danladi Umar, Acting State Chairman, Nigerian Red Cross Society, Benue State Branch, disclosed that it is their mandate to ensure everyone benefits from the interventions in the society.
To assure them that they are part of us, we are aware that they are there, they are not being neglected, they are not forgotten. We know their existence and we know the challenges they face just like every other person.
The team of Red Cross Society moved to the Benue State Rehabilitation Center to carry out a similar donation. In Makudi, Edwin Solomon, NTA News.
And that does it from Makurdi. It's back to Ayodeji in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Much appreciation, Susan, in our Makurdi Network Center. Let's talk about some accounts of stewardship. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the 7th edition of the ongoing ministerial press briefing, reaffirmed that the federal government has developed a holistic approach to deal with the dynamics of insecurity and guarantee the safety of lives and property in the country. Therefore, to fast-track the needed results and sustain successes, is advocating synergy between the civil population and relevant security agencies. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Since the inception of the current administration, the hope of Nigerians has been high and ambitious as the policies of the Renewed Hope agenda. As the custodian of the Renewed Hope document, the Ministry of Information and National Orientation is coordinating this forum where members of the Federal Executive Council present their scorecards within the last 24 months. As he ushered in his colleagues from the Ministries of Environment and Defense, the host minister, in solidarity with his guest, says terrorists or acts of terrorism do not deserve sympathy from the media.
I therefore call on my colleagues, or media professionals and editors, to be discerning in their reportage. We must deny these groups the undue publicity they crave. We must take them off the front pages and accurately report them as the criminals that they are, without glorifying their acts or giving credence to their false narratives. These, of course, are not freedom fighters. They are murderers, kidnappers, and destroyers, and they must be presented as such.
Several ministers have appeared on this platform, which remains active to address the public. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Enugu Network Center is next, and Chika will give us more on Nationwide.
Because of time, they didn't start on time, and they are going to zones.
And you didn't challenge that?
Who am I?
Just some glitch with our Enugu Network Center, but back here in Abuja, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has attributed the successes recorded by the armed forces and other security agencies to the continued support from President Bola Tinubu, pledging sustained aggressive actions to curtail insecurity through strengthened and strategic joint operations. This was at the 7th Ministerial Press Briefing on the scorecard of the Ministry of Defense. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
Which is the second priority area of President Bola Tinubu, is the gospel brought by the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abakar, as government's investment in modern equipment, intelligence gathering, and interagency collaboration has begun to yield tangible results.
Our troops have neutralized 13,543 terrorists and criminals, arrested 17,469, and rescued 9,821 hostages, while 124,408 Boko Haram/ISWAP terrorist combatant fighters and their families surrendered.
He also stressed the importance of sustained efforts, assuring Nigerians that the Ministry of Defense, in synergy with other security agencies, remains committed to a relentless onslaught against all forms of insecurity.
At this juncture, let me cast our mind to the fact that tragedy unfolding across Benue, Plateau, Kwara, and other states. Hence, we have initiated several non-kinetic mechanisms to ensure that various parties embrace peace and shun violence as means of settling scores.
the minister reaffirmed the administration's zero tolerance for terrorism, assuring that no safe haven will be allowed for criminals within the country. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And just enough time to join Ijoma Peter Wante on Sports Updates.
The future of Nigeria youth football, no doubt, revolves around grassroots talent hunt and development. This involved the just concluded football talent hunt in Obaru local government of Anambra State, where skilled players who can bolster Nigeria's age-grade football were discovered.
We're trying to bring unity into Obaru. And you know that where there is sport, there is love. And there's unity and there's peace. So that's the idea behind it.
Still on football, former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger has proposed a change to the offside rule that would mean attackers are offside if any part of their body is in line with the last outfit defender. Wenger, head of global development at World Governing Body FIFA, said it would restore an advantage to the attacker that many feel was eroded by the introduction of the video assistant referee. And finally, in today's UEFA Champions League semi-final match between Arsenal and PSG, sports enthusiasts are optimistic about an exciting showdown as Arsenal travel to Paris looking to overturn Paris Saint-Germain's 1-0 lead and reach the Champions League final.
I believe with Partey in the team today, I believe we will have a positive result, and I believe Arsenal will come up on top.
Arsenal, which have not reached the final since 2006, face the favoured side, PSG, which have won 18 of their last 19 UEFA knockout ties. With Sports Update, Ijoma Peter Wante, NTA News.
All right, just a quick news flash just reaching us now says Senate is currently engaged in clause-by-clause consideration of the tax reform bills transmitted to the National Assembly from the Executive in October 2024. The four tax bills, namely Joint Revenue Board Bill, Nigeria Revenue Service Bill, Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, and the Nigeria Tax Bill, seek to modernize and harmonize the tax system in Nigeria to improve revenue, block leakages, and eliminate overlap, among others. Of course, details of this would come in our subsequent bulletins. And that's nationwide. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'm Ayo Deji. Makinde from all of us here. Bye-bye.